We cheer teenagers on for crossing a line, pity and shame people for their health, and call self-destruction a great time. What does this say about us? Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of True Chats with Shen. This is the show where we not only react to things that are trending online, but we try our best to squeeze, if even just a drop, of a lesson from it. So if that's your vibe, if that's something that you think you will like, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video this moment. Now, as you guys know, I love to start my videos with something I learned throughout my life, and this week is no different. So this week I was at my mom's house talking to my sister, and we were like just chilling together, doom scrolling, and I came across a video where a TikTok creator was talking about how much he admires his older siblings. And then I was saying, because of where my life is now and all the things I have not yet achieved, I felt a little bit of shame, a sting of shame while watching that video, because I'm like, what do I really have for my younger siblings to look up to? Like, I know I have a beautiful, wonderful family, but because I'm no longer in a job, I don't work a 9 to 5 at this moment, I think it caused me to feel a little bit self-conscious about who I am. I felt a little bit of embarrassment in that. And then my sister reminded me that you might not be in a job right now, voluntarily, let me add. You might not be in a job right now, but there are so many other qualities to you that are admirable. It made me feel really good. And it also highlighted to me that I realized that a lot of times we try to find our value in what we do. Like, if somebody asks you who you are, you start to list your occupation and things like that. And I don't think that's where we should truly find our value in life. It also reminded me that I need to be comfortable or find comfort in the space of life that I am in right now. And also to remember that I chose this. It was not something that I had to do or I was forced to do. I chose this path. It's like I have to be reminding myself that I am in this phase. I have to be content with it and also acknowledge that it's a time for me to learn and grow. I took this time off to learn and grow and try something new. I would need to be content with whatever space in life that we are. So all of that might sound a bit jumbled up, but in all, the lesson for this week is just finding contentment with whatever stage in life that you are in while you're still growing and moving towards the things you want to achieve. Let me know if you guys have learned anything throughout your week this week as well. Leave those down in the comment section below. It is great for us to learn from each other. Alright, so let us get into the scroll stopper for this week. And for the scroll stopper, we have another beauty trend. It is the cutie patootie the cutie patootie trend, or you know what, let's just watch a few of these.
Aren't you just as pretty as a magnolia in May? Seems like only yesterday we were both little girls.
There's like a debate going on, cutie versus baddie, and I think that, like, personally, I think I'm a cutie, but it's like sometimes I could be a baddie. I feel like no makeup, cutie patootie, like, bitch. But then when I have makeup on with that black eyeliner, I feel like that gives baddie. I feel like anything that looks like cutthroat gives like baddie. I don't know. And then, like, I heard somebody talking about just like it's important to find your way and like find out like who you are, and then find out like it's okay to not be a baddie all the time. That you're not a baddie. You can be a cutie patootie. And I don't think nothing wrong with being a baddie or a cutie patootie. Because like cutie patooties are so cute because they're cute. Now at this point I'm just talking shit, but the question is, what do y'all think y'all are? Do y'all think y'all a cutie patootie or a baddie? Because me, I'm gonna say I'm a cutie patootie. I'm not a baddie. I don't know, but I could be a baddie though. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, and I think I need to find who I am. I think that's my problem, bitch. I need to find who the fuck I am, bitch. Am I a baddie or a cute beauty? I don't know.
So for those who have been here before, once again, like I said last week, you know how I feel about videos that try to, like this whole the beauty videos where you put yourself out there to get validation, to say whatever. But for this particular trend, I have two separate thoughts on it. For one, I feel like the representation of something else is very important. For a few years now, the thing to be has been for you to be a baddie. Everybody wants to be a baddie. Everybody wants to have that look. So for a very long time, people have always saw the body aesthetic as the ideal, especially amongst Black women. I like the fact that another aesthetic is being highlighted now because it shows that there are other things that you can be. However, I realize that women again are trying to box themselves in somewhere, like find somewhere to be so that they can validate themselves, and that's the wrong approach. While it can be a cutie patootie or a body, there are so many other things that you can be, but the most important thing to be is yourself. So don't feel like because you have a certain set of facial features that you cannot be something, or because you don't have these certain assets, you don't fit into this box. At the end of the day, these are all clothes. It's all clothes, makeup, hair, like how you present is just those things that you can take off and put back on, and they don't define who you are. So you don't need to force yourself into a box just to feel accepted or to feel that your beauty can be accepted if I put it here. No, it doesn't have to be either this or that. There are so many things. Just be you. Alright, so let's get into more serious matters with the talk of the timeline for this week. Let's first talk about this whole Lil Tay and her dropping the link to her OF on her 18th birthday. Not only that, but she made millions in a couple of hours.
Y'all already know what the going on. We just broke the link record with the youngest link of the century. $1 million in a couple hours. I'm still the youngest one doing it. For all the grown-ass haters who've been hating since I was 9 years old, look at me now. What y'all got to say? Y'all been doubting me for 7 years. You can hate on me all you want. You can't say Lil Tay ain't winning. So for everybody out there, do whatever the hell you want with your life. Who gives a f what people have to say? And remember this, Lil Tay rich and finna get richer. Oh yeah, and thank you to all my supporters who have pre-ordered since 2018 or whenever you did.
2018 is insane. 2018 is diabolical. How old would she if she's 18 now? In 2018 was what, 7 years ago? 11. I just find it so strange that we literally watched this girl grow up. We watched her as a child, which was like in COVID years last week. We know that after COVID, things just kind of flew by so fast, and it's like in my mind I'm still seeing Lil Tay as this little girl that was on the internet saying very crazy stuff, and it just seemed like she was in a really bad situation where the people in her life were not looking out for her best interest and trying to use her as like a way to make money for the family. And to see that this is the path that her life has taken is very sad. But most of all, it's really off-putting to me to see that there were so many men willing to pay for what they assumed, because I don't know what she does on OnlyFans, but what they assumed to be explicit content from somebody who a few minutes ago was still a minor. And this is not something that's unique to her. We watched it happen with Bad Baby as well. PDF files are getting really bold. You think that we don't know. You think that we think, or is it that you don't care? But you think that we think that you weren't interested in seeing her in that light before the clock struck midnight? You're a weirdo. These people are weirdos. There are so many men online bashing women, are talking down on women who have OFs, but somebody is buying it. When you're 18, you're still a child. Sorry, I don't care what you think about it or whatever. Like, if you are younger and you think that's insulting, I really don't care. At 18, you're a child. On paper, you might be an adult, but in here, you're still a child. Me at 29, I still feel like a child sometimes, and I have one. I remember what it felt like to be 18. I really did think I knew everything. I thought I had it all figured out. But as time progressed and the more I learned, I realized that I knew nothing at all. So for me, at 18, she's still a baby. And you guys are so willing to consume her in that light. It's so creepy. And I think that the people who consume content from the barely legals, in my mind at least, there's nothing stopping me from thinking that you wouldn't consume it from and not legal. Why do you like the look of that type of body? There's so much to unpack there. What do you think is it though? Like, I can't even really knock Lil Tay. I think she's just playing the game that she sees so many other people playing, the game that the world has set up for these young women in the limelight, in a sense. Because let's remember, she doesn't have a talent that she's famous for. She's just famous for talking reckless. And then the shock factor of her being a child talking recklessly wears off after know that she's an adult. If you see a grown woman just talking reckless out her neck, it's like it's not really that, it's nothing to like bat an eye about. Like, she's just another crazy lady. So I think maybe in their mind they thought this was their only option because she has been doing music. I don't think it's going anywhere. And she thinks that this is the way to make money. And then I also want to talk about the way that people are using their bodies more and more for financial gain, like as the first option. There are so many things that she could have done. She's not poor. I don't think she's a poor person by any means where she couldn't get an education or she couldn't learn something and come back to media as a producer of something, or in another way. I'm not saying that she has to leave the entertainment industry, but why is the first thing to do for women especially why is it to go directly to sex work without exploring any other options? Fast money is never good money. To some people that might be, this whole idea, the thing of me making this video might seem like I'm a hater, but in reality, I am looking at what this means, how this shows up to girls younger than her, looking at her making millions from dropping her OF at 18 years old. Let us also remember that the vast majority of young girls who are on this platform are not making that kind of money. There will be many young girls who see this and think this is just their big opportunity out of poverty. That is not the case. There is no greater pleasure than using your mind for something. And I think we're in a very lazy society also, where people just think that they're always just looking for the easiest way out while glorifying money. Those two things are a lethal combination. This is just an indicator of where we are morally as a society, both for the people who buy it and for the people who make it. I really do hope that the older she gets, the smarter she gets. I don't know if she is in control, because remember, there's a lot of scandal surrounding Lil Tay and her family and her brother using her for clout. And yes, she might be 18, but if you have been groomed and used all your life, maybe that's all you know. So maybe everything that they say to you is just what you go along with. But it's a really unfortunate situation when young girls think that sex work should be their first option. We're not too far gone. We can still recover from it. This is a new space. Money is not all. Your dignity should mean more to you than any dollar value can. In all honesty, I just think Lil Tay is a victim. I really do think she's a victim of her circumstances, a victim of the horrible standards of our world today. And right now, she thinks it's something great that she's doing, but in time, she will see that this is not it. All right, so for the next talk of the timeline, let us talk about this whole situation with Anne Marie. Apparently, she is a R&B. Let me see. She's a R&B singer. She makes music. Let me just say that. Many of the times I don't know these people at all. I don't really follow up modern media like that, so sometimes I don't know these people. But Anne Marie, I think she is a musician who was recently outed by her brother for having HIV, and she was outed in, I think, a very horrible way by people who are meant to protect. I don't even know why this clip has surfaced on the internet, but let's take a look.
24 hours, and we arguing about some shit that I did birthday. We overdid it, and I'm sorry to leave. Okay, but once it became physical, there's nothing much that I can do. Y'all fought in my presence. Y'all fought on my camera. Y'all fought. You was pulling his hair. You was punching him. You was on all that in my face. There's no way that I could have let y'all out the way. You did all of that in front on my camera. Yeah, but that's what the brother do. It's one thing if y'all was fighting before I got here and about.
Hey, how you found that out? She told you that?
About that's what they was arguing about. When I had canceled the door, I told him dirty. I'm like, hold on, let me listen.
You heard that?
They was arguing about it. He was like, you dirty, that's how you got HIV. She's like, I don't care. I'm the one that's providing for y'all, blah, 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 blah. So that's what they was arguing about.
Hey, sorry, I'm trying to find you.
Oh.
So as you can see, this didn't come from her directly, nor did I didn't see a video of her brother saying it directly and seeing the interaction between both of them. I didn't see that. So anything that was said is definitely alleged. But I want to look at the public's response to her alleged diagnosis or alleged outing of her health status. I see a lot of people saying it's so unfortunate. She is so beautiful. It's so unfortunate. And yes, she is beautiful. Definitely is. But it's so unfortunate that we still have this stigma of this illness, because I don't think her beauty has anything to do with her health status. I don't think that should even be brought up in the conversation that she's beautiful. So I'm saying that if it was somebody who was not seen as conventionally attractive, it would be less unfortunate. I don't know why people were bringing up what she looked like. And also, do we believe that illnesses are reserved for people who are not physically attractive? That's so weird. Like, especially an illness like this that you can get in so many ways, but especially through sexual activity, which practically all adults partake in, or majority of adults partake in. You should not be looking at somebody and thinking that because of their beauty, certain things, they cannot be carrying a certain illness. You know, that's a way to not protect. That doesn't protect you. Like, you cannot think that because somebody is beautiful or handsome that it could never be them. That's crazy. But I also want to talk about the people who were also in the comment section bashing her and saying things like, oh, the pretty one's always burning, and being so weird, and saying people are acting like this girl's life is over, as if she hasn't been doing her thing all along with this illness without a problem. We have gone past the days when having HIV was seen as a death sentence. We're not there anymore. People can and have been for years living totally normal, perfectly fulfilling lives while still having this illness. Especially with the medical advances that are taking place now, I don't think it's something that should still be carrying this type of stigma. Now, what I will say is that it is very important still for you to know your status, and also if you don't want to contract this, you have to take your sexual health very seriously. Do tests. Don't have sexual intercourse with people without testing first. Seeing that so many people are concerned about HIV, it's very alarming that people aren't, that's not translating in the way that people view sex and how they go about sex, or how they interact with people in that way. People are so, especially nowadays, everybody is so willing to just have random hookup moments with people, and I'm saying these cannot be the same people who are so afraid of HIV, who think so lowly of people who have it. It cannot be you, because you are not acting as someone in your sexual life, as someone who is afraid of contracting these diseases. And HIV is not the only disease that you can catch. There are so many other ones. There's so many other incurable STDs and STIs, and for people to talk about it this way while not being smart with their sexual health is very telling. It's almost like you think it could never be you. It's almost like you think it could never be you. But what's stopping it from being you when you don't do things responsibly? People are able to live regular lives with it. So I think the bigger issue surrounding HIV is not the illness itself, but it's more so the stigma that surrounds it. And I honestly thought that we were past a certain point as it relates to the stigma, but seeing people's reactions to this, and even without knowing if it's even true, it says a lot. We have a lot more things to learn about this disease and how people with this illness go through life. And I'm not saying this as a way to say that it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal, but I don't think it is a big deal in the way that people should be ridiculed for having it. I think it's more so a big deal because people should be taking their sexual health seriously because of it, and other diseases as well as pregnancies that you are not ready for. The reaction, as opposed to how people move in real life, is very contradicting, to say the least. And I think if we're going to talk about it at all, the conversation should be about really making space for people with HIV, and how we interact with them, how we speak about them, and also to educate each other about being responsible as it relates to your sexual health. It shouldn't be about bashing her or tearing her down or ridiculing her or saying anything negative about her. First of all, we don't even know how she got it. We don't know the situation, and it's not our business to know. But if we're going to talk about it, it should be from a place of trying to either educate or be educated, and not to just gossip about somebody's business. No, I don't agree with that. So let us move on into our heart work. And for this week's heart work, I want to just talk about how we have such a warped idea of fun, and how the things that we think are fun are actually destroying our bodies and our lives. I don't really watch Pop the Balloons, right? Or any of those type of stuff, but I might watch somebody reacting to them. If I like the creator enough, I might watch them reacting to these things. And a lot of the times I realize that when asked what we do for fun, what the person does for fun, the answers that they give sometimes are actually very insane. Like, we get answers like they like drinking, smoking, partying, and I'm like, when did this become our idea, or why did this become our idea of what having a good time is? Let's start with the obvious, the drinking of alcohol, right? It's almost like, do you realize that when people go to parties or gatherings, liquor is always there, and people think that they have to drink liquor as a way to loosen up. so that they can start having fun. Where did that idea come from? Why do we believe that we have to be outside of ourselves? Because that's what being drunk does. It takes you outside of yourself. And also consuming other types of, substances, drugs, doing drugs and drinking liquor. Why do we believe that the way to have fun is to be outside yourself, especially in a way that you won't even remember? I have been drunk before, and I must say that it's not one of my proudest moments. Actually, it's quite literally the opposite. It's one of the worst memories I have of myself in my 29 years of living. There is nothing fun about being drunk. There's nothing when I was younger and I heard the stories back of the things that I would say, because I'm out of my mind. I don't know anything that's happening. It used to be so funny to hear how I acted. And mind you, this is not something that I did frequently. At that time, when I was younger, it felt like a key. Like, it was so funny to hear that I was acting that way. When I look back at those moments now, I am filled with so much shame that I allowed myself to get to that point. For those who do drugs, one thing I will say, I don't really dabble. I used to do edibles and stuff. That was also a horrible experience that I would never encourage anybody to do. Very horrible experience for substances overall. For me, I don't really indulge. I might have a little pina colada or something like that, but it's never giving just going out to drink. No. I'm just wondering, why did that become our idea of how to let loose? Why can we not be ourselves and have fun? Why do we have to be something separate from who we are? Also, when it comes to drinking for stress, like when people are stressed out, we saw it all the time in television media, where the cure for a stressful week or a stressful day was to drink liquor or smoke a blunt. Why are those the things that we glorify as having a good time? Let's look at something else that we do for fun, especially for us women. Maybe not especially, but let's look at this whole idea of retail therapy. And not just retail therapy, but especially when you're not financially able to do it, but because you have the idea of retail therapy, you think it's okay to just run up a bag to make yourself feel better. Like that, it's fun to just buy things. And we try to frame that as self-care, but all it does is keep you in debt. And then the things that you buy, for one, most of the time you don't even use them, or you might buy them, you don't even like them after you get them. You're just spending money to get that rush, and then once you open the packages, the high is over and that's it. You're still left with bills to pay, or you're still left with no savings. Let's also look at how we doom scroll, the scrolling, the addiction to the phones. This is another thing that we see as a fun thing to do. We waste so much time. Let me speak for myself. Like I tell you all the time, when I say these things, a lot of the times, it's not to point a finger at you, because I have been there myself, and this one especially. As a matter of fact, if I think about what I do for fun right now, it's this doom scrolling is really it, because I don't really go outside like that. However, I am acknowledging that this is not something that serves me well either. I looked at my screen time the other day. Why is it 11 hours? Why is it an average of 11 hours? Now, mind you, I do fall asleep to my phone, so maybe I'm going to say that's why. But that's concerning. We waste so much time scrolling on social media, especially with TikTok. We are looking at other people's lives so much that we forget to live our own, and then we become so dissatisfied by our own lives because we are looking in at people's lives. Mind you, people's lives of which we're only seeing the highlight reels, just the great moments. We hardly ever see the hard times, the things that people have to overcome, and we compare our whole lived experience to people's highlight reels, and it causes us to be depressed about our own lives when that should not be the case. I say all this to say that those things will never bring us real joy. We will never get real joy. We will never have a real good time by spending recklessly, consuming substances that are literally destroying our bodies, scrolling all over in the internet, watching people's lives while forgetting to live our own. And these are some of the main things that we do, especially in this time frame, in this generation. These are the things we do for fun. There are so many things in life to experience other than these things. And I think a part of why we do these particular things so much is because we don't spend enough time with ourselves to know what we actually like. So we just fall into the loop of what everybody else is doing, or what we see on social media, or what we see through various means of programming that we have been conditioned to over the years, and we take that as what we should be doing without ever getting to know who we really are and what we really like. Also, I think there's a lack of spaces for people to try things, and I can understand why. From a business point of view, if you have this space for people to do things and all they're interested in is these things that don't serve them, and you are not making money as a business, you're not going to continue it. I think we should make it a habit, and this doesn't have to be expensive things. We should make it a habit to try new things like all the time, as much as possible. Try new things till we see what we like. There are so many options for things that people can do for fun if only we would just try. It's not that there's nothing to do. I think that sometimes we don't prioritize certain things. We don't prioritize fun, especially. I forgot even to say that a lot of times I don't even think we see it as fun. We see these things as a way of escape, because all we really are focused on is making money. Fun is never even factored into the equation. We're just trying to either make money or to escape our reality. And that's not living. That is not living, in my opinion. Let's make a conscious effort to live. I think that's it. Because these things are destroying us, destroying our finances, destroying our bodies, and destroying our minds. The finances come and go, but if you lose your body and your mind, you've lost it all. So let's make a conscious effort to start living, working our minds more, trying different things. So yeah, this was a short episode this week. I have somewhere to be, actually. So this was a short episode this week. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of True Chats with Shen. If there's anything at all that you liked from this video, comment it down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on these topics. If there's anything I missed, because I really did rush through. If there's anything you think I missed on these topics, please continue the conversation in the comment section. It is wonderful to learn from each other. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.